Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hello there. Welcome. It is June 18th. Imagine that. The year 2012. I've actually been known to forget. Not be sure what year it was. I remember somebody telling me that if you've been knocked unconscious, like a paramedic might say, and, what year is it? Who's the president? And I worry about such things because I could well be in what is my right mind and still get an answer wrong, I would think. Anyway, here we are. This is, I suspect, going to be a big news week. There's all kinds of stuff about ready to pop. And certainly over the weekend, some things did. The elections in Greece and Egypt, which I'm sure most Americans were watching with bated breath, have in fact occurred. And it looks like the Greeks have, for the moment, voted to remain in the EU and to succumb to Angela Merkel and the other ministers' austerity program. In Egypt, you tell me, whoa. In Egypt, you got something that doesn't look good at all. You have what some are calling a soft coup in advance of the election by the military which is in control of that country after its, Arab Spring. And you have the dissolution by the military of the parliament. You have, over the weekend, the apparent win of the Islamist, the Brotherhood's candidate. The only other choice was one of Mubarak's leftovers. So this is all those, think of all those people in Tahrir Square. Think of the hope that they evidenced. This ain't what they were hoping for. The military in charge, the parliament dissolved, and some Muslim Brotherhood guy about to take over. Potential real trouble between the military and him. And nowhere in this picture do you see the people. You certainly do not see the people who were in Tahrir Square, since the Muslim Brotherhood sat it out. They sat it out licking their chops because they could see, hey, these guys get Mubarak out of here. We're the ones best positioned to take advantage. Well, they are. They did. But the military is, as usual, seemingly more in control. Who the hell knows? God help all these people. God help them. I was out of town. I was in Boston, so I'm not clear. Well, I did scour the papers locally when I got home last night, but I don't think. Am I missing anything big here? We know the Sandusky trial is rebooted, up and underway for its second week with the defense now presenting its case. And apparently the first thing the defense did this morning was ask the judge to dismiss all the charges. Okay. What do you think the judge said? Come on. Go ahead. Go out there on a limb. You be the judge. Your Honor, I move that all these spurious charges against my client be dismissed for lack of any evidence whatsoever. Right. The judge, I believe, said, this judge is really bang, bang, bang. I think the judge just said no. That would be a right answer. That would be correct. So let me tell you something that happened at the airport in Boston, which really interested me. So this is on my way out last night, and I'm standing in, one of those dang serpentine security lines, waiting to take my shoes off, always feeling guilty. And the line they have, unlike the line in Pittsburgh, is close enough to all of the TSA guys who are doing the checking that as I slowly snaked to my way toward the start of the line, or would that be the end of the line? That would be the start of the line. I could hear what the TSA guys were saying to the passengers who were ahead of me. And I was hearing things I have never heard in my life. I was seeing people engaged. In every case, there were 3 TSA guys taking people in. In every case, they engaged the person in conversation. Here in Pittsburgh, here's what they do. They give you maybe a look. You give them your driver's license and your boarding pass. They look at it. They put it under a little light. They shine at this. They go zip, 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 zip. This, that. Have a good flight. Which is, nice and quick. But people would argue that it's not really doing the job. What I saw in Boston were TSA agents working. They were really doing the job. And what they were doing was the kind of psychological profiling that the Israelis do. And I have never, ever seen it done. I don't know if it's a pilot project in Boston that they're doing this. So that every person was engaged in conversation. One young girl was standing there, and the woman was saying, "And so, how long did you stay there? And what were you doing? And what was? I mean, you would think like 2 friends were talking. And when did you come in? And did you stop someplace else?" And sometimes there was laughter back and forth, very, blah, blah, blah. But I understood what they were doing, having been through Israeli security twice. They were doing Israeli security. And everyone says it's the smartest security there is. It's psychologically based. There was tons of eye contact being made. These TSA guys were looking at you. They were, I'm sure they must have been taught. They were assessing body language. They were noting if you were evasive or uncomfortable. And there was one guy who was having the longest conversation of all. He was way ahead of me in line. He was still being talked to when I was taking my shoes off. And I couldn't help but note that after he did finally finish talking, that his bags, after they went through X-ray, were searched. So some little red light had gone up on him. And I mean, the question I was asked is, hello, and how long were you here? And I said, just for 36 hours. I said, I blew in yesterday. I'm blowing out today. Why? To see a friend. When did you buy your ticket? How long ago did you buy your ticket? That stumped me a little bit. I said, I said maybe about 2 weeks ago. And is Pittsburgh your final destination? I live there, but she knew that if she looked at my driver's license. And blah, blah, blah. A few more questions. Oh, what's your friend's name? What's your friend's name? And I just was able to immediately say my friend's name, and she smiled. And and then when she was done, and I said to her, I said, I am so glad to see you guys doing this. I know what you're doing. You're doing Israeli security. And she smiled. She said, oops, been found out. She said, you're the first person who's ever said that. I said, well, God, it's so not American what you're doing. I've never encountered it. It's smart. Much smarter. And I was thinking maybe Boston is more into that, since didn't some of the 9/11 guys get on the planes in Boston? No, I think, didn't they? Yeah. I should know this, but I believe so. But anyway, it was good to see. And, these were, it's easy to make fun of the TSA guys because so much of what they do just seems like pro forma, a chimpanzee looks like they could be trained to do it. What these guys were doing was working. And clearly they'd been trained. They were working. And they would have to be very well trained, very bright to do those jobs. Those are high skill jobs. So I found that interesting. So then, of course, I make my way through, and I get to, the plane, U.S. Scareways, and, of course, they load us on. Then the pilot comes on. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a slight problem. We have a light in here, the emergency something or other button doesn't seem to be functioning. We've called for maintenance. Should be here momentarily. Just stay in your seats. Sorry for the delay. 1 hour later, the guy gets on and says, which I thought, because I was in a forward seat, I didn't see anybody come on and try to fix anything. And he said, well, we've called maintenance a number of times. They're not coming. So we're all just sitting there like idiots waiting to go. And what a system. What a system. We sat for a little while longer, and then the pilot said, hey, he's probably starting to worry about lawsuits, and so he let us off with the proviso that maybe maintenance might come, maybe he sort of felt that it could be fixed, he couldn't know, blah, blah, blah. Unbelievable. 3 hours later, ladies and gentlemen, they found another plane. They never found maintenance. They found another plane. Oh, don't you just love to travel? But I was really impressed by that, the Boston TSA thing. I had never felt safer. So, it's dreary. Hey, guess where I'm going for lunch? Seriously, guess where I'm going for lunch? Do you notice that I'm dressed differently today? I don't know how much you can see here, but it's sort of, how would you characterize the outfit? I think conservative. Don't you? I even have pearls. I have pearls in a white organza, tasteful, high neck, little sheath kind of thing under, and here in a little beautiful brooch, and no big earrings or anything like that. I have a tasteful skirt on. I rarely wear a skirt. Where do you think I'm going to lunch? I am being taken to lunch at the Duquesne Club. I told you guys the story the first time I was at the Duquesne Club, didn't I? Yes, I did. Well, this will be my second time, and I'm going to behave this time. I am. Because I'm going with a member. As a matter of fact, one William Green, conservative, apparatchik, former aide to Dick Thornburg, and my constant nemesis on WQED's Friday night political roundtable show, 4802. But Bill and I have been sparring for so many years that we're very friendly off camera after we get done screaming at each other. So I think this must be the part of Bill that likes to sort of cause trouble, to walk into the Duquesne dining room with Lynn Cullen. I'm assuming I'm merely a prop here. And he's looking to, get some people talking. So I promise to behave myself. I think I will. I don't have the energy, frankly, to cause any trouble today. But so anyway, I'll let you know. The food there is pretty good. I mean, it was the last time I was there. But it's such a stuffy place. Less stuffy than it used to be. You had to wait for all those old industrialists to die, and then younger people came in, and then they amazingly started letting Jews. I'm kidding you. They started letting Jews in the front door. And then the next thing you knew, they were letting black people in the front door. And women could become members after a while. But when I first moved to Pittsburgh, none of that was happening. No siree. So, yes, I shall be dining momentarily with the captains of industry. So, what else is happening? The problem with going away is that you sort of get out of touch. Oh, I'll tell you a big thing that happened over the weekend, as if you didn't know. Obama, immigration. Good for him. Good for him. What he did was the most he could do without having to go to that damn recalcitrant, 2-year-old tantrum-throwing, hissy fit, immature jerks in the Congress who would never let him get anything done. So this is the most he could absolutely push it through, essentially, executive power. And what he did is lift a great burden off the shoulders of millions of people. My understanding is it's maybe about 1 million young people that this will affect, but also the burden is lifted off the shoulders of their parents. So, I mean, there's millions of people in this country now that are sleeping a little better, breathing a little easier, and not looking over their shoulders every 2 seconds. So this is good. We got a call? Hi, caller. Hello.
Hello, Lynn. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I don't know if you saw it in the paper or YouTube, but one of Barack Obama's law professors at Harvard has come out and says that he must be defeated.
What? No.
His name is Roberto Unger, Uger. He's a law professor that Obama had at Harvard. He came out with his long, esoteric, scholarly video on YouTube and says that Barack Obama must be defeated.
You said Unger, U-N-G-E-R?
Yes, Robert, R-O-B-E-R-T-O, first name. Last name is U-N-G-E-R.
Okay, Roberto Unger. And his general reason for being against Obama is?
Okay, his complaints are policy is financial confidence and food stamps. He has spent trillions of dollars to rescue the moneyed interest and left workers and homeowners to their own devices. He has delivered to politics a policy to the rule of money. He has disguised his surrender with an empty appeal to tax justice. He has reduced justice to charity. He has subordinated the broadening of economical and educational opportunity to the important but secondary issue to health care in mistaken belief that he would be spared a fight. And he has evoked a politics of hand-holding, but no one changes the world without a struggle.
All right, Roberto, to the barricades. I mean, this is a guy who's, fine. I understand. Right. So Obama is not, he's just not as much of a leftist as Roberto wants. He's more of a pragmatist. That's
right. I mean, if you watch the video, which is on YouTube, it's a very scholarly,
I'm sure. But
esoteric type of
okay, but does
thing. So I'm sure Romney's just licking his chops right now.
No, because does the professor then suggest what a voter like I am supposed to do?
His point, I think, is the Republican is not a great deal better.
Okay, so not a.
From what I got is the Republicans are the lesser of two evils.
Well,
the Republican program is not that great, but yet it's better than what Obama is offering.
Well, see, that makes no sense. This guy can't be talking out of both sides of his mouth. I mean, if he thinks he's on Obama for doing the bidding of moneyed interest, then what the hell would he call the Republicans? He doesn't offer an alternative. I don't know. I don't care if he's a Harvard professor. I say the guy's an idiot. That's what I say. I'll make a point of looking at his screed or his video, but I don't know.
Roberto.
Got
First
him.
name, last name's Unger. Uger.
Like Felix Unger. Remember him?
Right. The odd couple.
Okay. Hey, thanks for the heads up. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Bye. Jerks. More jerks per square. These academic SOBs sitting in their, in their ivory towers, not having to deal with the Republicans. I mean, okay, let's put Roberto Unger in a room with Mitch McConnell and John Boehner and, Wall Street and the whole bunch and the lobbyists and the thises and the that's and the money men, because God knows our entire system is corrupted by money. But listen, tip your hat to the Republican Supreme Court for really opening the floodgates there. And good God. Barack Obama ain't the Messiah, that's for sure. But unfortunately, these contests in this corrupted government of ours is always a choice between the lesser of two evils. And it ain't even close. I don't even want to argue it. It seems so absurd to me. I am being told by obviously somebody who has frequented the Duquesne Club to make sure I have the macaroons. I have heard that before. Jess, you want me to pocket one? I'll bring one in for you.
Okay.
That's as bad as I'll be. I'll start stuffing macaroons in my purse. Okay? That's what I'll do for you. Oops. I got to take a break, don't I? Okay, I'll take a break. Roberto Unger. I don't even know the guy. Never heard of him before, and I already hate his guts. It's not very generous of me, but I do. Screw you, Roberto. We'll be back in a minute.
Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com or call Lynn at 412-316-3381. Lynn Cullen Live will return in a moment.
The Town and Country Tour features 15 gardens in Squirrel Hill and Shadyside all day long on Sunday, June 24th. See these wonderful gardens, talk with experts at each stop, and support the Pittsburgh Botanic Garden, coming to life near Settlers Cabin Park. Order tickets by calling 412-444-4464 or go to their website at www.pittsburghbotanicgarden.org.
You in the City and Hosanna House Summer Nights present Jazz Under the Stars, starring Najee, Friday, July 13th, 8 p.m. at the Sherwood Events Center in Wilkinsburg. Tickets available at Dorsey's, Stediford's, or charge by phone at 1-800-383-5760. Najee, live in concert July 13th. Proceeds benefit Hosanna House, a place called Hope.
Get Lynn Cullen live on your smartphone. Go to citypapermobile.com now for Pittsburgh City Paper's brand new mobile app. Get the latest restaurant reviews, event listings, movie times, and of course, Lynn Cullen live on your smartphone. citypapermobile.com.
It takes 12 years to create a graduate. It takes about the same time to create a dropout. And at the end of the day, the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be you. Studies prove that reading to a child regularly dramatically improves reading skills. And kids who read well by 3rd grade are 4 times as likely to graduate. So United Way is asking you to make a pledge. Tutor a child who needs help. Mentor a kid who needs someone on their side. Volunteer to read to children. Because when a child advances, we all advance. Communities improve. The path to success starts long before graduation day. And the difference between a graduate and a dropout could be you. Be a reader, tutor, or mentor. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Go to liveunited.org now. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
In regard to the TSA screening at Logan Airport in Boston, Colette says, I've had that same kind of questioning in Vancouver when I've gone to Canada for business. The difference was there was no smiling or friendliness on either the Canadian or the American side. Yeah, and in Israel, I wouldn't say it was smiley either. It was very, you really felt under interrogation. But I don't know. I think that smiley stuff, the friendly stuff, is actually potentially more disarming. I mean, what's a perfect verb given what we're talking about here? That, might give somebody who's got reason to, who's got ill intent to let down their guard a little. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the psychology of it is. The other thing that intrigued me when I went through security in Tel Aviv is that their X-ray machines are much, much more intense than ours. I mean, I could see on the screen what they were seeing in terms of what was in the luggage, and it was nothing like what ours show. Ours show this sort of like, what the hell would that be? And I'm sure they learned to sort of decipher it. But the Israeli ones, it was in color, it was defined, you could see. And I thought, well, geez. Oh, why don't we have those? I don't know. But I just want to say, if I can, I'm jumping all over here, guys. But back to the immigration move that Obama made this weekend. As you know, I worked for over a year on a documentary on immigrants in Pittsburgh, current immigrants in Pittsburgh, documented and not. And so I spent time with, talked to, interviewed a lot of people who are living here in Pittsburgh who do not have papers. Now, all you have to do is meet one of these people to stop using the term illegal alien, which is so dehumanizing. Everyone I met, and I met them through these terrible Catholic nuns who are, just like the Vatican suspects, helping these people. they're like helping them with medical stuff and education and housing and clothes and getting by and stuff like that. Can you imagine? So I was so moved by these people, by their courage, by what they've endured to come here, and then what they endure here, the total lack of any security, the harassment, the discrimination. And to a man and a woman, they all said the same thing. I'm doing this for my children. So, the children, there was one in particular, a beautiful, gorgeous young woman. She was 16 or 17 when I interviewed her. Her name was Anna Karen. And Anna Karen was brought here young. She would be definitely one that would have benefited from this. And she came here knowing no English. She went to school, one of the public schools. She learned English. Her English was impeccable. There was almost no accent at all. She was a good student. She was bright. She wanted to go to college. In order for that to happen, the DREAM Act, which you may have heard of, had to pass. Of course, with Republican opposition, it did not. So this young girl, who, through no fault of her own, had been brought to this country because her parents wished for her a better future than they could ever have, was educated here. Our public schools ask no questions. Wait till the Republicans get in charge. And she, by all accounts, I mean, feels like an American. If you ask her, what music does she listen to? What does she eat? She's an American teenage girl, is what she is. But because we then would refuse to let her move on, she didn't bother getting deported. She went back to Mexico, a place that she really didn't know. She went back to Mexico in hopes of being able to get a college education there, although she wanted to be a dentist. And I'm thinking, so here's a young woman, our tax dollars, educated, marvelous, bright, energetic, ambitious, and we throw these people back out. We throw them out when she could have been here. This is insanity. It's insane. So what Obama has done is, if Anna Karen were still here, she could, I don't know, would this have allowed her to try to get into college? She could, I'm not sure. Jesus. So, I mean, even though everybody was saying, oh, how wonderful this is, oh, how wonderful, it's not amnesty, it's not immunity, they still don't get to be citizens, they still this, they still that. And yet, if you saw pictures of some of the people affected by this, hearing the news and bursting into tears of gratitude, even this little bit, I mean, some are saying it's this huge landmark thing. This little bit is still nowhere near. So even if you were like Anna Karen's brother, and you had come here too at the age of 6, and had gone to school, and had never done anything wrong, and even had enlisted in the armed forces, and even had gone to fight in Iraq, and potentially have given your life for this country that wants to throw you out, even those people still have not been granted amnesty. Which is why I say, and will say, ad nauseum, will somebody please go over to the Statue of Liberty and sandblast that Emma Lazarus poem off the base? We get such goosebumps when we look at the Statue of Liberty with her arm in the air and her torch. And those words, those inspiring words that make us feel so good about ourselves and our country. Ask Anna Karen if those words apply. Give me your tired. You're poor. Are you kidding? All we want is rich. You know what? We will get, if somebody's got enough money, they can buy their way into the country now. Do you know that? Is it true? You can buy your way in here. You got enough money, we want you. But look at what we think we're about. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. You tell me, does that poem have even the slightest truth about it? We don't want anyone's tired and poor. We don't want no huddled masses. We don't want homeless, tempest-tossed. Hell no! We don't have no golden door. We got barbed wire. We got ICE agents. We will track you down. I don't care how many jobs you're working and sending money back to your starving parents in Mexico. It doesn't matter. The disconnect between our mythology and our self-righteous sense of America and the stark reality causes such cognitive dissonance in anyone who's paying attention that truly the head spins. Okay, hey, listen, when we come back, I got something really ridiculous to tell you about, and this has nothing to do with any of this heavy-duty stuff, okay? Can we get to it? But first, this.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Vote now. Who will be the chosen one in Pittsburgh City Paper's annual Best of Readers poll and register to win a new iPad? Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
The Town and Country Tour features 15 gardens in Squirrel Hill and Shadyside all day long on Sunday, June 24th. See these wonderful gardens, talk with experts at each stop, and support the Pittsburgh Botanic Garden, coming to life near Settlers Cabin Park. Order tickets by calling 412-444-4464 or go to their website at www.pittsburghbotanicgarden.org.
Gustavo and Vella wants to thank all of southwestern Pennsylvania, the USA, and the world for helping to liberate his native country of Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea has suffered 43 years of dictatorship, 43 years of human rights abuses, 43 years of corruption, and 43 years of kleptocracy. Even with $5 billion in oil revenue in 2011, the 700,000 citizens of Equatorial Guinea earn less than $2 per day. A proud Mount Lebanon resident, please help Gustavo and Vella usher in the 21st century by allowing freedom, democracy, and socioeconomic prosperity by the rule of law for the next 43 years and beyond. Email him at presidentandvella@yahoo.com to help free Equatorial Guinea.
Go to BergBargains.com for great deals on tickets to the City Theater, Symphony, History Museum, and the Carnegie Museums. Check out this week's big deal featuring 50% off tickets to the Carnegie Science Center. BergBargains.com, Pittsburgh's only online deal site where the deals don't expire. BergBargains.com.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
Alrighty. Maybe you guys saw this. front page New York Times yesterday. One of the latest things that anybody who's doing the right thing before their baby comes. This is, again, these current day parents that drive me bonkers. Well, here's the newest. You have to hire, before the birth, a birth photographer. Jazz, don't say what. Yeah, a birth photographer. In fact, there is already an International Association of Professional Birth Photographers. Here's a quote from a woman who hired one for, by the way, $1,895. This is someone in Long Beach. Having been in Long Beach, I'm not surprised. I want to see that moment when I'm in labor. That moment when both my husband and I look to see what the sex is. Lynn, move your plant, someone just said. Oh! You can't see my number! Oh! I'm sorry, the number is 412-316-3381. Thank you, Ronald. 412-316-3381. I want to see that moment when the head crowns. And I want others to see. Then they put these things up on Facebook. Jesus. Now, you know what's funny, though? The woman who said all that, she went into labor. The photographer's snapping away. And then she had to have a C-section. Ha! And then somebody said, well, who say, okay, you have a picture of your kid, and then, 18 years later, you're showing pictures. Oh, and don't remember when you were born. And, someone said, what kid wants to see himself coming out of his mother's vagina? I mean, hello? Who wants to see his mother's vagina? Everybody raise your hands. I don't want to see my mother's vagina. And I don't want anyone else to see it either. Thank God some hospitals are banning this, but a lot aren't. So just so you know it, this is the latest. These photographers have been known to get speeding tickets trying to get to the labor room on time. They try to arrive when the woman is at 6 centimeters dilation. That's when they start snapping away. Hey, you Mexicans, don't come. Don't come. Look at this culture you'd be subjecting your children to. Don't come. Better to be poor. Because these rich people are weird. Really weird. Okay. So, well, Ronald, were you wanting to call, or are you just concerned somebody else was trying to call? I thought, didn't you expect a flurry of calls now? Yeah, didn't happen. That's okay. So, I love this stuff at the end of, the school year when they share some of the things that have been said at commencements. And there's a big one this year. This one, David McCullough, our own David McCullough, the Pulitzer Prize-winning historian, his son did the commencement address this year that attracted all the attention. His son is a teacher himself, and I guess he was giving the speech at the school that he teaches at, and it went viral because essentially he said to the kids, "You're not special." And while some people, probably people who have pictures of their sons' heads crowning in their vaginas above the mantle, some people, just went hysterically insane. How dare you say that my child is not special? And he gave this great address and explaining, with apologies to Mr. Rogers and to Barney the dinosaur and anybody else, that no. And I've been saying this for years. If we're all special, then how special is special? What? If everybody is special, then what's the big deal about being special? Maybe the word is unique, so maybe the word's wrong. I would say everybody is unique, and some people are special. But in order for special to mean anything, it can't be everybody. Can't be. I'm sorry, with apologies to Fred myself. So, again, the New York Times yesterday had some things that had been said by some of the folks that were asked to give words of wisdom to graduating college seniors. And I thought the funniest one was at Harvard. Their speaker was Andy Samberg.
Oh my God.
What did you want? Desmond Tutu? No, Andy Samberg. A comedian, right? And he absolutely spoke the truth. He said, here's one of the things he said. I love this. The following majors are apparently useless as of tomorrow: history, literature, all things related to art, social studies, East Asian studies, pretty much anything that ends with studies, romance languages, and finally, folklore and mythology. Unless you can somehow turn them into an iPhone app. Well, there it is. And I say this sitting, a few miles away from the University of Pittsburgh, which we now know is the second most expensive public four-year college university in this country to attend. Second only to the illustrious Penn State. And the University of Pittsburgh, which will cost you more than twice as much as the average public school higher education. Didn't it just drop its graduate program in what? I forget. It's one of these that Samberg listed. They're just dropped it. Because, after all, you can't make millions of dollars with that. Why would somebody even want to know it? And so this idea that universities are going to be turned into vocational schools continues apace. Did I share with you the thought my brother had? And I think he's absolutely right. If ever universities should, more than ever, have liberal art education, it is now. Why? Because if you have a liberal arts education, you have a broad education. You have also, in the course of getting this education, learned how to learn. And because jobs now are constantly in flux, jobs only exist for maybe 10 years, and then they cease to exist because technology dispenses with them. Something moves on. You have to know. For any worker, and we're told what? A worker in the future will end up having to change jobs some astonishing number of times. So it seems absurd to do a narrow education. What you want is an education that allows you to be nimble, to be able to learn quickly, to be flexible, to be as polymathic as you possibly can. But of course, we're going in the other direction. Adam Samberg also said this. I guess this is, they're saying how people are always saying, make the world a better place, go out there and do something wondrous. And Adam Samberg, of course, took the other.
Andy.
Why am I saying who? Who am I saying? Adam.
Yeah.
Andy, thank you. Thank you, Jess. Who am I thinking of? Who's Adam? Adam Sandler. That's what's doing that. Okay, Adam Sandler. Adam Samberg. He says to the guys at Harvard who are just about to get the diploma, hey, my advice to you is simple. Relax, dude. You just finished college at Harvard. I mean, I went to Santa Cruz and then transferred to film school, and I'm rich, okay? And I don't mean spiritually rich or any hippie crap like that. Oh, God. So there you have it. I've given my share of graduation addresses, I must say. And I always know that people just want me to hurry up and sit down and shut up so everybody can, go. So I've always kept mine short, and I've tried to make them as funny as possible because, that's serious stuff. Really, give me a break. Because graduation speeches are boring. They're almost always boring. And I said to the kids, those stupid hats you got on, they call them mortar boards, because you are bored during this. That's a mortar board. And my advice always is, and I do say this with great, and I mean it. It's not meant to be funny. I tell them to go out there and fail again, and fail again. Because I swear to God, the only time I ever learned anything was through failure. People who win all the time, who get it right the first time, how do they ever learn anything? It seems to me that, bumping into failure, adversity, limitations, your own or structures or, with bureaucracy, is how you learn how to navigate. And it's another reason why these damn parents these days who try to shield their children and sort of, get all the blocks out of the way so their children have like this smooth path forward are doing their kids a disservice. I had a very wise friend who, when my son was still in grade school and he was not getting his work done or something was going on, I can't remember, and I said to her, and I tell him, I'm nagging him all the time, this, that, and she said, stop. She said, just stop. The only way he's going to learn is if he sees the consequences of doing what, and it's a hard thing for a parent to do, but it's the smart thing for a parent to do. So when I can't tell you how many times a parent has called me and said, my daughter has a paper and she's supposed to interview, someone in broadcasting. Could she interview you? And I'm thinking, what the? I said, well, tell her to call me. What the hell is the mother calling me for? And I mean, to this day, I still let my son do all the stuff. He wanted an apartment, go find it. You want to furnish it, go furnish it. You want this. And I hear these other parents saying, oh, I'm helping my daughter move into her apartment. Why? Let her move. Jesus, I don't know. See, I do come from this laissez-faire parenting school. My parents never helped me move into an apartment. And I moved into lots of them. That's what friends are for. And you get an apartment where you end up paying too much, you sign the wrong lease. That's how you learn. Every once in a while, if you really screw up, then you call mom and dad. But I don't know. This codependency between parents and children now is not good. Not good. In In the words of our former governor, Ed Rendell, I mean, we become a nation of wusses, and we're raising our children to be wusses. Unsure of themselves, unable to do anything without calling mommy and her nanny. It's not right. Which is not to say that you don't seek out help when you need advice or something, but the doing of should be you. Excuse me, and that's my graduation address. Go out there and fail. You know what? It says I have 5 minutes left. Do you guys want me to fill it with more blather, or can I just leave? I do have something here, but it just seems so... Okay, I'll do it real fast. I thought this was really good. All these, you see the war drums beating again, and I mean, they are. That we've got to somehow get into, it looks like Egypt is going down. We might have to take some military action in Egypt. God, Syria, look at the slaughter going on there. You got a civil war going on there. We got to go in there. I mean, you got the usuals. You got, who always wants to go to war? Let's see. There's John McCain, Lindsey Graham, and what's his name? The Orthodox Jew, turncoat, Democrat, independent, Lieberman. They always want to go to war. Well, fine and dandy. So somebody suggested, don't people ever learn? Do you remember the rush to get into Iraq? And I mean, people like me were saying, excuse me, do you think we could just, what's the rush? Could we possibly just think this through? What we could be getting ourselves, and drowned out. Even like, people who are supposed to have clear heads got nuts. And off we went. That we would so soon after just extracting ourselves from Iraq, and not completely, because, I mean, we're there in many ways, maybe not military. Yeah, we do still have military guys on the ground there. So, my gosh, we're going to get, people actually think it's a good idea to get back into another? We're still mired in Afghanistan, where 2,000 of our soldiers have now been killed? Are we out of our minds? So somebody suggested all these people who think the answer is always go to war because their hearts are so full for the people there that are getting killed and screwed and all that kind of stuff. Well, somebody suggests, what's this guy's name? Can't see it. Suggests, Doug Bandow, suggests, hey, if you know your history, do what they did in the 30s. Thousands of Americans did in the 30s when Spain was in this horrible civil war. Francisco Franco, right? That fascist SOB. And you know what? People who were on the side of the people who wanted to fight Franco, they formed a brigade. It was called the Abraham Lincoln Brigade. And they went over and fought. And a whole bunch of them died, too. But this Doug Bandow suggests to all these hawks, the ones who are always, go to war, go to war, go to war, because they're always thinking somebody else is going to go, not them. Hey, if you really think that is the answer, if that is something so important, then you go. Stop running at the mouth and run over to Syria and fight with those freedom fighters. But let's not commit the American military, because the American military is supposed to be protecting us. And right now, in terms of protecting us, we do not need the expense of trying to save another totally dysfunctional country. We don't. There. That was my isolationist self coming through. Anyway, that's it. Okay, I'm off. Oh, no, I have an hour till I have to go to the King Club. What am I going to do? No, I'll...
Go for a drink.
I don't know. I'll think of something. Okay, so guys, tomorrow, I guess, my sister Susan's going to be joining us from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Okay? And Wednesday, Pata. And Thursday, Sokolowski. And you know the drill. Anyway, have a great, great, great day. Toodaloo.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.